Burke's on his feet. He looks up and gives me a grin and says, "Hey dude, you too must be from Marin." Marin County's A-OK, from Tam to Stinson all the way to MA. Fresh organic veggies in the market every day. Lieutenants Dylan and NWA.
Welcome to the Run TMC Podcast. That is the Run the Marin County Podcast, a podcast about basketball in Marin County. I am Duffy Ballard, and with me is my co-host and friend and new head coach of the San Domenico Panthers, Katie Levine.
Hello, Duffy. I was hoping there would be some exciting vocab word.
Grammable. I got grammable. Do you know what grammable is?
Something that's worthy of the Instagram?
That is absolutely correct.
I'm very Gen Z. I'm very hip.
So I know the term grammable, but I have yet to actually set up my own Instagram account.
It's okay. I got enough.
I got you, Dave.
I'm grammable enough.
If you haven't seen Dave's Instagram, what's the tagline? What's the tag on your IG?
I don't even know.
Okay. Look him up. But he does like lots of good little reels. They're called reels, right, Dave? Where you put together little photos. And,
with some sets of some tasty music.
And with people wearing our t-shirts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. So Dave and I are together. We've had a little break, a little siesta. A little pod siesta. It's been nice. We've both been pretty busy, but we're back. This is not season 2, Dave. We've just been talking about this. This is a bonus episode that is prepping us for our season 2 release. The date and time to be determined. But this is an interview that we recorded several months ago.
In May.
And we want to get it out. Great interview. But of course, before that, we do feel obligated to banter a little bit. And we're going to start with a topic that isn't basketball, but is probably on just about everyone's minds.
How did I meet Brian Bosworth?
Right. Well, I was going to lead with fantasy football drafting, but we're going to quickly get to Brian Bosworth. So, Dave.
Yes.
You just had your fantasy football draft that you've been doing for 25 years in Whitefish, Montana. Awesome place, or so I hear.
Yes.
And so you had a bunch of guys there, and a bunch of them were wearing Run TMC shirts. I got some great pictures.
Yep.
And lo and behold, you had a surprise guest.
So the quick story, first of all, we don't do it every year in Whitefish, Montana. But this is my college friends and I have our fantasy football league. The winner of the league, Duffy, gets to choose the location of the next year's draft. The last place team has to plan said draft. I have never won the league, and I created it, so I'm 0 for 25.
How many times have you planned it?
More times than I would like to admit.
Okay.
But a quick story, a couple of years ago, one of our friends could not make it. And at the draft, this was in Cabo San Lucas, we had the idea to use, there's a service called Cameo, which is not a sponsor, but they should be. You know Cameo. You can get famous people to record video messages for your friends. And we had Brian Bosworth, the Boz, legendary football icon of the 80s, record a message to our friend who couldn't make it. And the Boz, instead of just doing sort of a standard, "Hey man, so too bad you couldn't make it to the draft. That's a bummer." The Boz recorded a 5-minute unbelievable video. He poured himself a beer. He poured himself a shot of tequila. He was hilarious. It was amazing. So fast forward to this draft, 2 years later, our friend who missed the draft and received that message from the Boz reached out to the Boz and through his agent was able to get the Boz to surprise all of us and show up to our draft. So we were sitting in our house in Whitefish, Montana. We were all sitting around like dorks with our laptops ready to do our fantasy football draft.
Can I pause you for 1 second?
Yeah.
If you're listening to this and you're like Angela Ballard and you've never heard of Brian Bosworth, just go Google him, go to the images, and you'll just see the most incredible Karate Kid-like hairdo, mohawk.
The greatest mullet mohawk in history.
I don't even know what to call that.
Yeah, the Boz, B-O-Z. Look it up. He's a legend. So anyway, we get a knock on the door, and it's the Boz. And he hung out with us all night. We drank some beers together. I, being the podcast host that I am, was asking him all these questions just because I'm a dork. And He was a great guy. A couple of fun gems.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
How did that actually happen? Was he convinced by your friend who he had done the cameo for? Is that right?
Yeah, and through his agent. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. But he mentioned that Joe Montana was small in person. I asked him, like, who are the toughest quarterbacks you ever played against? He's like, oh, Montana was amazing, but not that big a guy.
Probably bigger than Jeff Garcia, though.
Probably, but still, he said an incredible quarterback, but just not physically imposing. He said the toughest guy for him to tackle. Any guesses?
I have it in the script, so I'm not going to guess.
Alonzo Highsmith.
Not Bo Jackson.
Not Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson.
By the way, we were all afraid to mention the Bo Jackson. So if you want to Google another thing, Google Brian Bosworth, Bo Jackson. It's one of the most famous football plays in the world, in history. So he only played 24 games in his NFL career. He was absolutely the most famous college player of his time. We were talking about how if NIL was around when the Boz was in college, he would have made a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Just an absolutely marketing genius. Shoulder injuries ended his career way too soon. He only played 24 games in the NFL. He did mention that Barry Switzer, who was his coach at Oklahoma and later coached the Cowboys to a Super Bowl title, was an amazing motivator and kind of saw something in the Boz that others didn't. And he's the one who identified that the Boz could be a star. So anyway, really fun to hang out with him. Great guy. And Google the Boz.
An icon. Now, did you talk podcast at all with him?
No, I was tempted to, but I stopped short.
Okay.
Maybe we can get him on at some point.
Right. I think once we release this episode, send it to his agent.
Absolutely.
All right. And then we'll do a cameo for him someday.
Of course.
Well, that's great. Yeah, I think that is far more exciting than what I've been up to recently. Dave, I've had a lot of home improvement projects that have gone sideways. We've got a bunch of gravel in the front yard and some 8x8 beams that are meant for a retaining wall. We've got a couple hoses from the hot water heater that are draining the hot water heater because it's not a hot water heater anymore. It's just a tank that needs to be replaced.
But there is something exciting, Duffy, and it's basketball related. Why don't you talk about the shoot tournament?
Yes. We have mentioned this before. It's come up on prior episodes, especially with Owen Bugos from last season. But this is the best time of year for what we call September soreness. It's not March Madness, it's September soreness. The Sleepy Hollow organization of old timers. And this is a tournament that's been going on for 26 years. There are players who have played in all 26 or will have played in all 26, including friend of the podcast, Joe Ufret. Our friend Joe Ufret. And so we're getting ready. And so more on this, Dave, because we're going to have some correspondence at the tournament, which is this coming weekend, Labor Day weekend. We'll probably release this podcast after the tournament so we can, in subsequent episodes, we can bring you up to speed. But it's just a great event, and it's just a great generational collection of guys that just love basketball. We've had some women out there too, but so far no women in the tournament. So far it's just guys, but you'll have 3 generations. So last year, Dave had an opportunity to play a couple minutes with my father, who is in his mid 80s, my brother, and my son Holden.
That's really cool.
So, and there are other examples of that, just, family legacy. And we raise money for charity, give the money to local causes. Usually people have come on hard times, for one reason or another and just need some help and support. So I'm really honored to be a part of this group.
Great example of a way that basketball brings people together. And Duff, it's so fun to see you and your friends do this 26 straight years. It's an awesome event. So congratulations on it and good luck in the tournament. Stretch out really well, please.
One note, we'll hopefully record this, but our friend, soon to be guest, Buck Chavez, he got a mention. He sings the national anthem.
Love it. Moving on. So we have some sad news for a Bay Area basketball icon, Al Attles.
Breaking news.
Al Attles passed away. Yeah, we're not breaking any news here. Very, very sad because Al Attles was an absolute Warriors legend. He died at the age of 87. He was coach of the Warriors in 1975 when they won the NBA title. I know Al Attles because growing up, he was my mom's favorite player because he was, Duffy, quite attractive in addition to being a great basketball player.
You watch the clips. he looks like Draymond Green the way he played.
Totally. So his nickname was the Destroyer on the court, but off the court, he was gentle, kind, did a ton for the community. He was part of the Warriors organization for 6 decades. The Warriors statement, they said that his tenure with the Warriors is the longest with a single franchise in NBA history. He played for 11 seasons for the Warriors. He then coached for 13 plus seasons. He's a Hall of Famer, an amazing human, and we're very sad about his passing, but we're very grateful to have had Al Attles in our life.
Yeah, as Warrior fans, we've been so focused, I think I can speak for myself and many others, in the last 10 years, like the Steph Curry era. And then we remember we were bad for a long time before that. And then we had a brief sort of glimmer of being good.
Yep.
Run TMC.
Run TMC.
You may have heard of it. But we don't really think back to those teams under Attles that were pretty good and won an NBA championship. And he had an amazing record as a coach, 13 seasons. And man, he looked good. Look at those clips, as a coach, quintessential 70s drip.
Absolutely.
Killing it.
Absolutely. No, they were great teams in the 70s. So thank you, Al Attles, for everything. Moving on, Duff. So season 2 sponsors. Duffy, you wanted to hit on that?
Yeah, so we don't have any sponsor ads for this episode, but we do have some that are being lined up for season 2. We will be reaching out, probably not the same way we did last season. We're still figuring it out, Dave, but we will be looking for some sponsorship. Maybe like mixed greens might be available.
Duffy just wants a salad.
So yeah, so more to come, but we do appreciate all the support we got last season. It allowed us to sort of cover all of our costs with regards to technology and hosting fees and this and that. So thank you, and t-shirts, of course, t-shirts. So thank you, sponsors from season 1, and more to come on sponsors for season 2.
For the record, both Duffy and I have cups of iced coffee with us. So
yes, let's take a nice coffee break.
Some things never change. Okay, we're going to hit a quick glossary segment that my man Duffy is going to hit on, and then I'm going to give some quick updates, and then we'll get to the interview. So let's go to the glossary. This is a good one, Duff. I like this one.
Yeah, I had seen this technique many times, but I didn't know that it had a name, and the name is perfect for the technique.
Yeah.
It's a dribbling technique, and it's called a hostage dribble. And if you watch the NBA and you're looking for this, you'll see it far more than you would realize, but players like Luka Doncic are fantastic at it. And essentially, the whole idea is that you're gaining an initial advantage, maybe off of attacking a closeout, and you're getting beyond your defender, but you're not going all the way to the hoop. You're just then holding the defender on your back. So you're holding them hostage. They can't get in front of you, and you now have time to wait for a cutter or to hezzy and go. And very effective, especially if if you're strong and you can hold that space. So apparently I just learned that it was, maybe the term, I know this dribble's probably been around forever, but John Beilein, the University of Michigan coach,
great coach,
was the one who dubbed it per YouTube, the hostage dribble. But you'll see a lot of great players.
Brunson uses this. Curry. Yeah. So more physical guards so they get by somebody and then you kind of back into them, have them on your back to buy some time. It's a very effective protective dribble, but also can be, used as an aggressive tactic to get to the bucket, but just change of pace.
And back to the old man tournament, the shoot tournament, it's a good move for an old guy. If you can get a little bit of an advantage, sure, just hold that young guy on your back.
Yep.
So that's what I got. I think that's a good one.
I like that one. Excellent. Thank you, Duffy. So I've received a few messages from people in the last couple of weeks asking for updates on, I'm sure you have as well, Duff, on Marin hoops changes. So whether it's coaching changes or player movement. And I thought I'll hit on a few of them quickly here. We will go more in depth as we get closer to the season as we officially enter season 2 of the podcast. But just quickly, I wanted to hit on a few coaching changes around Marin. So on the boys' side, San Rafael High, Colin Hamilton, great guy, great coach, has been named the head coach at San Rafael High, and our buddy and the great coach Stevie Johnson is going to be his assistant. I think that's an awesome hire. Colin has tons of energy. We've talked about him in the past. He's a great coach of ball handling, but he's he's just all energy and passion, and he's going to be great for the San Rafael program.
And I saw them, Dave, a couple times over the summer, like open gym in the spring and then in summer league. And those guys, they're nonstop, Colin and Stevie, and they're chirping and they're high energy. And I think they will get that program. I mean, they don't have a ton of talent returning other than their top 2 guys, but they've got young players that they'll develop. And maybe not this year, but within a couple years, they're going to be good.
Absolutely. Good guards. San Marin, our buddy Con Dunning stepped away, and Chris Lavdiotis has taken over. I think Chris came from Miramonte. Great coach, I've heard.
And we're going to have him on the podcast as well.
Yep, we'd love to have Chris on.
One interesting thing, sorry to keep interjecting.
Go for it.
I've heard this. I haven't heard this confirmed, but I believe that Chris is stacking the schedule so that it is almost entirely after the end of the projected football season.
Oh, interesting.
So that he gets all, like we talked about this with Con and Chad. So rather than having that dilemma and running up like possibly a poor record early on, just stack your season when you have your players. Yet to be confirmed, but if he is doing that, that's an interesting concept for a football school.
That makes sense. Yeah, San Marin and Marin Catholic are the 2 that come to mind as schools that we've talked about that really strong football programs, and the football season can bleed into the early days of basketball. So that's an interesting strategy to be continued on that one, Duff.
Mm-hmm.
And then at Marin Academy, Khalil Murphy has been named the head coach. Khalil was coaching the JV boys at Redwood. He's a great coach. Kelly Thomas, my friend, who's the assistant AD at MA and the girls coach, has mentioned they're really excited to have Khalil on board. So those are the boys' changes. Go ahead, Duff.
I have something to say about everything, Dave. Yeah, I saw them play summer league as well.
Yeah,
and they were very competitive, and they look like they're going to be good, and they're going to, I think, be a challenge for BCL teams. And shout out to Liam Mulholland, friend of the podcast,
our friend,
friend
Liam,
looking good,
awesome. On the girls' side, some fun changes. Let's start with Marin Catholic. So our friend Ashley Saya has stepped away, and Duffy, guess who got the MC job?
Friend of the podcast. We are the matchmakers when it to this sort of thing, right?
A young woman named Caden Korst. You know her as KK. Listen to episode 3 of season 1. KK got the job at MC. I'm very excited for her. She's a good friend. And that was a very competitive job. A lot of great coaches interviewed for it, and they picked KK, and I think that's a great hire. So excited for KK and the MC program. Branson, Bruce Pruitt has taken over. Bruce is an awesome guy and a great coach. He's been the strength and conditioning coach at Branson, I think, for a couple of years. Branson's going to be tough. They've got some really good players returning, and I think Bruce is a fantastic coach, so that's a great hire. And then on the not so great hire, San Domenico hired
what are they thinking?
Dave Levine to be the head coach. Very easy. It's kind of, okay. Do you remember when Michael Jordan retired? Do you remember the guy that took over for Michael Jordan as shooting guard of the Bulls? Remember his name?
Steve Kerr?
No. Pete Myers. Remember him? You never heard of him, right? Okay, that's me. Mike Fulton has retired, and I'm taking over at San Domenico, and impossible shoes to fill.
But you've got a pretty darn good player coming back for her senior year, and you have already recorded a conversation with her. So you do start with, some assets on your side.
Future podcast guest, Carly Amborn. Yes. So real quick, I wanted to hit on, there has been some player movement, some transfers, and as we get closer to the season, we will discuss those. But just suffice it to say that some changes are afoot, particularly at Branson. After that unbelievable team that they had last year, a few of their players are moving to different programs. The dust is still kind of settling on that stuff. So we'll talk about that as we get closer to the season.
More on the boys side than the girls side.
Correct.
Yeah, more on the boys
Correct.
side.
But speaking of Branson, one thing I wanted to shout out, Avery Meyerberg, awesome player, has committed to play at Amherst College. Division III. Avery is a great player. She's going into her senior year at Branson, so congratulations to Avery. And then also want to say good luck to our Marin friends, some of whom have been podcast guests, who are starting their college careers. They probably are either on campus now or going to be, but just a few that I'll rattle off. Jace Butler, our buddy, is at University of Washington. Josh DeVore at Cal Lutheran. Jake Vasquez playing lacrosse at Notre Dame. Maddie Dayton at Wesleyan. Joaquin Aguilian at McAllister. Rue Todd from Redwood is playing at St. Andrews. Charles Williams from Marin Catholic is going to play football at Wyoming. closer to here, Leo Matos, our buddy from San Domenico, is going to be playing Elms College Division III.
Love Leo.
Leo's a great kid.
Yeah.
And then one more thing, our buddy Gil Ledetsky, great player for Redwood, he's going to Cal, and he's going to be a practice player for the women's program, which
awesome.
I think is awesome and near and dear to my heart because that's what I did at Stanford. So
yeah, good kid, great shooter, man. He showed up at some open gyms over the summer. I think he missed.
Yeah.
So yeah, we probably did miss a few people.
I'm sure we did.
Yeah, let us know. It's not intentional.
Yep.
And so a couple people, like there's a chance that Owen Bugas, may do something still. We'll let Owen will be in touch.
Yep.
He still looks pretty good playing out there with the basketball.
Okay, so let's get to our interview. This one was really fun. I'll just do a quick thing, Duff, and then I'll let you say your piece as well. But Mike Turner and Brock Winter were our guests. Again, we recorded this one in May, but
at the headquarters, at the NBBA headquarters,
at the NBBA facility,
hidden behind several collision
repair shops in San Rafael. I just re-listened to this. It's a really fun conversation. I think this is a super useful one for parents, for players, for fans. These guys are so knowledgeable about the college recruiting process. Turner, in particular, played Division I college basketball, played pro ball, was just, one of the best to ever play in Marin. And Brock is just incredibly knowledgeable and experienced in getting kids through high school programs and into college programs. So really fun discussion about the recruiting process.
Yeah, I think if you are a parent who has a kid that's starting to play, and if you take a moment of introspection and you say, am I taking this too seriously or not seriously enough or just right? And if you're anywhere off of the just right, I would just take a listen to this, interview, especially with Mike Turner, and just kind of get a little perspective and see it through his eyes, because he mentions, parents having parent goggles and seeing things through their eyes, which of course is natural. That's human nature, but you do have to be aware of it. And you and I, we've been there. I know I've had the parent goggles on, for hours and hours. So I think that is very, very valuable. And then Brock just has a lot of knowledge about how recruiting works. And I learned a lot about recruiting from sitting down. Like, I didn't really know the details of these live periods where where players could go and do tournaments and be recruited versus the, what do you call them, scholastic periods where they had to play with their school.
Right.
And just a wealth of knowledge. So if you have a kid that there's any chance you think they might want to play at the next level, this is a really good interview to listen to. But even if you don't, they're just, knowledgeable basketball people. And I think, as usual, Dave, I think you did a really good job with this interview.
As did you, Duff. It was a fun conversation. And our friend KK was sitting in the corner. This was before she got the MC job, but yeah. KK was just, because she just wanted to listen. She liked learning from Brock and Mike. So, and by the way, if you hear some snoring, our podcast dog, Kenya, is back.
Yeah, we need to funnel some iced coffee into her, because she's, she's on that cuspiness of sleepiness right now. Dave, I have just one thought in re-listening, because it had been a few months. I re-listened to the podcast this morning before recording with you, and Mike was talking about, some kids just playing too much. Like the year round was just too much. And you get them shooting on a 10-foot hoop too early, and it's just like too much. And that there is a break, although sometimes there's a need for a break, but sometimes finding that break is hard because there's just the next season just starts and the trainings just start back up again, and it's just year round. So as you know, Dave, recently we've had a bit of a tough time with Holden, who broke his ankle, and to the player who tugged on his jersey as he was jumping for a layup in the summer league game. That wasn't cool. But anyway, it has been a forced break. Not the break caused a forced break, got a couple screws in his ankle. Mm-hmm. He's now out of the boot and he can start working again on his game, but it's actually kind of nice. Just, all right, this is just going to be a little vacation, a little siesta from basketball, and a good, opportunity to sort of reset and, maybe have different goals or different approach when you come back and start back up.
Just like when you work out hard, but you need to take that recovery, right? And if you don't take a proper recovery, the workout's not going to be as useful for you. It's the same thing with basketball, right? I mean, we all want to play a lot, but I couldn't agree with you more and Mike mentioned it, that in today's culture, we play so much and kids want to get exposure. Sometimes it's good to just take a break. So I'm sorry about Holden's ankle, but I know he'll come back stronger than ever.
Yeah, he was faster than me, Dave, even with his boot on.
Yeah, I believe it.
Great. Well, this has been fun to get back together with you, Dave.
Indeed.
It's been too long. I look forward to season 2. This was a long intro as well as a long interview. So no outro on this one, but we will give you a little bit of Luke Esterkin on the back end of things. We're not changing our intro or outro soundtrack. It's too good. And actually, before we go, we're going to wish Kai Esterkin luck with his surgery. He has surgery coming up tomorrow, Dave. Broken arm.
Okay. Good luck, Kai.
So,
all right. Thanks, Duff. Good to see you. Let's listen from Mike and Brock, and we'll be in touch soon.
Yeah. This has been the Run TMC Podcast. That is the Run TMC Podcast.
A podcast about basketball in Marin County.
Thank you, Dave. All right. Take it away, Mike and Brock.
Okay. We're going. Good to see you guys.
Good to see you. Thanks for having us.
We're psyched. So we're very honored and thrilled to have Michael Turner and Brock Winter here and special guest KK looming in the corner. We won't talk about you, KK. It's all right. So today we've got great opportunity to talk about the recruiting journey. So we thought it would be useful for our listeners to hear from you guys because you're both experts on this, both in terms of your personal experience, but then also basically you guys live this every day, right? So we'll do quick intros. I don't think we need to introduce you guys much because people know you. You're both legends. But Mike, let's start with you. So Michael Turner grew up in Marin, Novato?
Novato, yep.
All right. Marin Catholic. Mike, you've heard some of our episodes, I assume. Common answer when people talk about the greatest to ever play in Marin. I'd say what do you think, Duff? Top 3? Top 3 most common answer. Yeah. So Mike had some game. Player of the year for the MCAL in both the junior and senior years. Are you the only one to do that?
Only one. Things have worked out, fortunately, for me recently.
I know. Seriously. It was a little bit of a risk.
Yeah,
But TT got it this year. So in 2004 and 2005, you were named to the All-Metro team by the San Francisco Chronicle. Listeners, the San Francisco Chronicle was a newspaper that people used to read. In 2005, you led MC to the best season in school history, 29-5. You won your 4th straight MCAL championship, D4 NCS championship, and you made it to NorCal final. But then lost. That's where I lost
Tough
my
loss.
game too. Tough
For
loss.
St. Mary's.
Okay.
Who we beat in the NCS championship, actually.
And do you think you guys would have won state if you gotten by them?
If you get there, obviously you have a chance, but we would have matched up against a very tough Campbell Hall team who had all the Holiday boys, and that would have given us a handful, needless to say.
Drew,
Justin, and,
yeah.
The other one.
Yeah, exactly.
Aaron.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
No disrespect.
So, Mike, you were North Bay Player of the Year, according to the San Francisco Chronicle, and Cal High Sports named you 3rd team All-State. You are 2nd on the Marin Catholic career scoring list.
Yeah.
Who's first?
I guess this kid Calcaterra.
Oh, this guy Joey.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to have him
You know,
on
I
too.
played for Rick, so I didn't get to shoot 40 times a game.
I get it. Shots fired, Rick. And you're first in career rebounds with 968. So we're going to get into your recruiting journey, but it's interesting. So with all that, you go the JC route. You play at West Valley.
Yeah.
You had a great stint at West Valley, led the team to a regional title, and you leveraged that to get a D1 offer at the University of Hartford, where you kicked ass. Is that Vin Baker?
Vin Baker.
Ex-Milwaukee Buck.
Unbelievable house, by the way.
I'm sure. We'll talk about
deep fryer right in the island. I was like, okay, we could do this.
That's what you get for playing in the NBA.
That's it.
Yeah. So you were a 2-year captain and named to the defensive first team all-conference at Hartford. You were the first player in Hartford's history to finish the season with more than 200 points, 150 rebounds, 100 assists, and 50 steals. And then you went on to play pro ball in Germany for a couple seasons. We'll talk about that. So since your playing days, you've been with NBBA really since the beginning, and you heard Rick, Rick basically said he started NBBA for you.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah. Not for me, but kind of because of, like, we're going to talk about the whole recruiting.
He was frustrated with that and using you as an example. And so you're currently the associate director and director of player development. Our first episode, Mike Fulton, we said to Mike, all right, who are the best trainers? The first answer, Michael Turner.
Fulton. That's my guy.
It's all of our guys. He's the best. So Mike is an amazing coach, trainer. And then in 2014, Miami Heat head coach Eric Spoelstra, who we've talked about a lot, brought you to Miami to help serve on his coaching staff for his basketball academy. So Mike, thanks for being here.
Appreciate it.
Very excited to talk to you. Brock Winter. Hello, Brock.
Hey, Dave. Appreciate it.
You are so welcome. You grew up in Marin as well. Your dad's named Rick Winter. He was a basketball coach. You played high school ball for your dad. We're going to talk about that. Your senior year, Brock, you led your team in scoring, were team captain, and you were MCAL second team and honorable mention all Bay Area.
Yeah.
So Brock's got some game. Attended Ithaca College in New York to study sports management. And while you were at Ithaca, you were on the athletics game day event staff. You worked alongside the athletic director, kind of learned the logistics of sports, and that's obviously served you very well in your career. But then also while you were at Ithaca, you were the student manager for the Cornell University men's basketball team.
Yep.
That's
Worked with
awesome.
them for 2 years.
Very
fun experience.
Very cool. So you would be at practice, work out players before and after practice, help with travel, and kind of just be, jack of all trades, right? To help them out.
I used to work in the office during the day and then take the bus over from Ithaca to Cornell every morning, work in the office, do some helping with recruiting, help with, whatever game day staffing stuff was needed during game days, and then would work out players when they needed.
Awesome. So I'm not surprised. So if any of you know Brock has a motor. He's never more than 4 minutes without responding to a text. He's got energy, and he gets things done. If you need something done, just call Brock. So you graduated from Ithaca in 2013, and then in 2014, you began working with Eric Spoelstra's basketball academy, kind of a sister program to NBBA in Miami. And you did a lot with Coach Spo. I want to talk about that. And you helped find various players spots at the next level, right? And that's kind of started your journey in helping players with their recruiting journeys. You then came back to the Bay Area, and you've been working since 2015. You've been working with NBBA, right? And you're the director of business development and director of the high school showcase teams and of team travel.
Correct. I'm
Awesome.
pretty much a travel agent for NBBA these days.
Yes, you are. I want to talk to you about my flights coming up here, Brock. All right. So, guys, I want to start with talking about club basketball. So Rick was quick to help to me because I was referring to it as AAU. And he's like, look, there's a difference between AAU and club basketball. So we're going to talk about club basketball, which is what obviously a lot of kids are participating in. Mike, let's start with you. What do you like about club basketball, and what do you not like about it?
So what I really enjoy about it is you offer opportunity for kids to continue to develop in the off season, which traditionally, when I grew up in Marin, there was nothing. You played CYO, middle school.
Yeah.
We didn't have it in Novato, so it was only CYO and rec ball. And then it was done. You go on to baseball, you go on.
Right.
And there was nobody who really put anything together as far as getting Marin kids together and competing and getting outside of the area. So I like the fact that we offer an opportunity. We get kids, I wouldn't necessarily say exposure, but you give them the opportunity to see what's outside of their local area as far as basketball talent.
Yeah.
What I don't like about it is what most of us don't like about youth sports right now, which is, delusional parents, right? And
What do you mean by that?
parents who just have unrealistic expectations of what the experience should be. For me, it should be all about, as you know, sports end for all of us, right? So
Yeah.
It's all about being part of a group, being accountable, obviously being coached and developing. But far too many times, the biggest thing that Brock and I probably dislike about our job is having to do team placements.
Yeah.
Right. Because you're not going to make everybody happy, but there is part of this world where we have to be realistic about where we stand amongst our peer groups. And sometimes it's hard for people to take what I call the parent goggles off and, step back from the situation and say, what's really best for my son or daughter's development, So, outside of that, I mean,
Well, how has the landscape changed in your perspective so even at the college level, you got the transfer portal, and that kind of filters down, right? And that ethos of, all right, if I'm not happy here, I'm going to transfer.
Yeah.
NIL dollars. I mean, I just saw on Instagram yesterday, TT has got an NIL deal with mixed greens, like the salad. So like
Nice.
TT, I mean, phenomenal player, great personality, great kid, but that's a high school kid now who's got an NIL deal already.
Yeah.
Right. So that's changing the whole landscape. Right. So are you seeing that like in your day-to-day coaching?
Not so much with our program, but definitely in the whole game. You know, I have a buddy of mine coaches in Texas, and he lost a player because Texas doesn't allow, go figure, Texas doesn't allow high school players to take NIL money. So he went to Arkansas, got paid $100K, and he's like, how am I supposed to compete with this?
Right.
You know, so it's definitely real, definitely has an impact. The portal, I think, has had the biggest impact on what we're talking about, which is recruiting and trying to get kids to the next level. I mean, first it was COVID, right? And then the portal happened, and, you know, talking with coaches and guys I know in the game, it's like, it's really tough right now to talk to them about high school players. You know, they want JUCO transfers, D1 transfers, you know, studs from D2 or D3.
Why not?
You know, so, you know, that has had a huge impact on what we do.
I absolutely. Brock, anything to add, kind of the good and the bad of club basketball?
I think club basketball, from my experience of when I played growing up, I was never the best player, the biggest player. I was always the smallest guy. I mean, I was 5 feet as a freshman in high school.
Okay.
And the opportunities that we give players and other programs give players in this county and in Sonoma County and across the Bay Area for like those lower level, you know, developmental players to get an opportunity to play against kids outside of just Marin County and have a little bit more structure, I think is awesome. And then I think with our higher level teams, like it's a great opportunity for our higher level kids to go out and see what's out nationally or even on the West Coast outside of just the Bay Area. To kind of piggyback on what Mike said about disliking, you know, there's some unrealistic expectations from parents. Basketball ends at some point, and so it's trying to temper expectations, but also place kids and help kids understand like the level that they're at for the college level. Like it can't be a D1 or bust mentality, especially in the environment that we're in right now with the transfer portal. You may have to go JC for a year. You may have to go do prep school, do a post-grad year before getting the opportunity to go play at a 4-year school.
Yeah, and the point on this, you know, in case people are kind of curious about this transfer portal thing, I mean, basically what Mike and Brock are saying to just for some of our listeners here is, you know, if you're a college coach and you have the prospect of recruiting a kid to be a freshman, you know, a high school senior, and you figure, okay, they're freshmen, that's going to be a project, you're going to have to develop them, versus going to the transfer portal and grabbing a junior who's already played at the D1 level a couple years or D2 level. I mean, I know kids who are doing this too. It's just kind of like, you know, they're shovel ready, right? It's like you don't have to do any zoning, right? They're ready to go. So that's really hard for high school seniors to compete. And we're seeing that.
I mean, I talked to a D2 coach this past week who told me that for the first time, they didn't even really recruit a high school kid this year.
Yeah.
Everything was transfer portal, re-recruiting their own roster. I mean, that's a whole nother can of worms that like the transfer portal has opened up, is that they have to like re-recruit the kids that they already have on their roster to keep them at their school.
Everybody's a free agent.
Yeah. And I saw a stat the other day. I think between men's and women's, we're at over 3,500 athletes that have entered the transfer portal, and only 40% have been placed so far. And that kind of goes back and ties into kind of the unrealistic expectations kids have. They think that they can just go walk on at a D1 school, be there for 1 year, enter the transfer portal, and then their quote unquote profile is better.
Right.
When maybe going JUCO for a year and cutting your teeth there and being one of the better players on the team is the way to go.
Yep.
So,
I mean, the biggest thing about it with the high schools, right? These coaches, their livelihood depends on them having success, right? So the days of getting a freshman and developing him to be a senior, they may not make it that long.
Exactly.
You know, so with how cutthroat the business is.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the reason the shift has been so successful.
Right.
And you add in the NIL money. Well, now they're going to their boosters and they're going to their admin, and now they're getting large money trying to get players into their school, that just adds even more pressure on the coaching staff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So this is a good segue into, so let's talk about recruiting. Duffy had added a few questions to what I sent you guys, and these were good. So when should it start? Like, if not let's say you have a really talented kid, at what point does the college recruiting process start? And if it's not an age, it's kind of, how do the parents determine if their kid is ready, kind of physically, emotionally, skill wise, all that stuff?
So is Dave ready to be recruited?
That's what I'm saying. I got some eligibility.
That's a good question. I would say that unless you're a top 200 kid nationally as like a freshman, sophomore, like you're probably not getting recruited right away. Like you're probably looking at more junior with the new kind of rules, the transfer portal. You had to enter your name in by May 1st this year. The first live period for on the men's side is May 17th to 19th. The first live period on the women's side was April 18th to 21st. So like you're looking at junior year. That's kind of like that's the big academic year in high school. It's the same thing with athletics. Like that's your big recruiting opportunity year.
And Brock, just to be clear, explain what do you mean by a live period for NCAA?
Live period is, so the NCAA certifies non-scholastic, so that would be non-high school, non-scholastic events throughout the course of April, May, and July.
Okay.
The men have 3 this year.
Yep.
1 in May and 2 in July. The women have 4, 1 in April, 1 in May, and 2 in July.
Yep.
And then there's also scholastic live periods that the NCAA certifies as well. And those are both in June for men and women.
Okay.
You have to be with your high school team during those. Travel teams are during the other ones.
Got it.
But really like the shift has been junior year is kind of your big year. I would say junior year in springtime is like good to get your feet wet, see kind of what's out there. By the time July comes, colleges kind of know what they're looking for the following year. I would say, going back to like transfer portal stuff, like seniors, there's a lot of seniors playing right now.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of like unknown opportunities that could open up by the end of May, depending on what rosters need to fill in at the back end of their rosters at the college level.
Right. And these tournaments, these live period tournaments, I mean, so you got college coaches sitting there watching these games.
Yeah.
Right. And, I mean, KK's here. KK just took a team back east, and she was saying there were college coaches there and they're talking to the players. I mean, that's a great opportunity for these kids to play in front of college coaches. And the energy in the gym is really amazing.
Yeah.
Right. You've got really high level teams and you got college coaches sitting there watching.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I mean, one of the main reasons our program was lucky enough to be selected as one of the programs nationally to play on the Under Armour Rise circuit, which is the second circuit on the Under Armour. But it's still an exclusive type of thing. There's only 48 men's programs across the country that are on at the 17U level. On the girls' side, I think we're at the 17U level, I think it's closer to 40. This is from a nationals perspective. And the best part about those events that we get to take those UA teams to is that the majority of the time it's all under one roof. So when KK brought the team to Pennsylvania, the UAA and the UA Rise are playing in the same building. It's a one-stop shop for college coaches.
Very efficient.
That is a way for them to look at a lot of players at the same time.
And again, Mike, back to you. When you were playing, you were all everything, and I'm Cal. Unbelievable. This wasn't really a thing.
No. I mean, for me, it was you go down to LA Super 100, which was the top 100 players. You go down to LA, you show out there. I went out to Pittsburgh, 5-star basketball camp was huge. I mean, that you want to talk about eye-opening. I'm playing with guys who are going to Michigan State, Arkansas, OJ Mayo. All those guys are out there. So that was how you did it traditionally. Nowadays, with all these live streaming, I mean, we say live period, right? That's when coaches can go and contacting and talk. These guys watching film 24/7.
Right.
Well, assistants.
Yes.
And managers.
Right. The Brock Winter.
Yeah. And I mean, between all the 1,700 different streaming services, every tournament is streamed at the viewing level. When I mean viewing, I mean kids who are going to be recruited. So they have access to all that, to piggyback off Brock. I think traditionally it used to be junior year. I really do think now it's like
creeping into
senior
year.
summer.
Yeah.
You know, if we're talking about 5 4-star guys, that's a whole different conversation. You know, those guys are known. There's Amani Bates, you know, ninth grade, right? Okay. But the normal guy, I'd say senior summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Question about the streaming. Is that like on NFHS? Is it Huddle? Is it YouTube?
Yeah, there's a bunch of private companies that do it very similar to NFHS.
Ballard TV,
Yeah.
Be the Beast, Live Barn. There's a bunch.
Subscription.
Yeah. But I mean, from a college coach perspective, if you just have one subscription to each one for your entire staff, I mean, it's efficient.
Save some money in travel.
So this is
actually huge.
And it's like, so like D1. So the reason that the live periods exist is the goal is to control the D1 coach's ability to go recruit. The higher level, you know, Power 5 schools, I guess Power 4 with the new way the conferences are going to be.
Yeah.
Like they obviously have a higher budget so they can travel more. Well, if it was open season, they would be sending coaches every weekend to everywhere. Where like you have like the low major schools or the D2s or D3s where they don't have that athletic budget, it doesn't allow them to travel that much. So these live periods are kind of try to create an equal playing field.
It's like the electoral college of club basketball.
Yeah. But it's like really not level playing field because like certain schools have to just stick to their region because that's all their budgets can afford.
Yeah.
And it's actually D2 has a different recruiting calendar than D1. Everyone just kind of follows D1 as like the basic one. And then D2 can go out and watch games a little bit more. And D3, there's no recruiting calendar. They have free reign. They can do whatever they want.
But D3, there's no scholarships.
There's no scholarships. So they're looking at kids, you know, academically.
Exactly. So this is a good kind of segue into, so Mike, I'm curious, social media and how so advice to kids to promote themselves, like, because I mean everybody's got, I mean I'm seeing, you know, Instagram reels for 13-year-olds.
Yeah,
I'm like,
the best second grader in the country. It's disgusting.
Exactly. According to his mom. Yeah.
This is where I'm like, I have become the old crotchety man.
Yeah. Well, you are old, man.
I cannot stand the social media aspect of it. I understand the benefits it has from promoting yourself, right? And there should be an aspect of that of what you do.
Yep.
But God, we get caught up on all the wrong things.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, I've never seen a missed shot on Instagram. Never in my life. Never. I also haven't seen a box out.
Right.
Never seen anybody hitting the floor for a loose ball. You know?
Well, if the shots don't, shots always go in.
That's it. I guess there is no reason.
Exactly.
You know, but you know, So you want to promote yourself. You want to have some film out there. You know, whether it be Instagram, Twitter, probably is. Yeah. Oh, my bad. X. You know, there goes the old man in me.
Sorry, Elon.
Yeah.
I'm sure Elon listens to this.
Yeah. So there's a level of that in which you want to have. You know, at the end of the day, you know, highlight films are highlight film. You know, the coach is really going to want to see a full game tape and he's going to want to see you play in person, you know, but in order to get yourself some sort of exposure, some sort of recognition, some sort of name, you have to do that. And I probably would say, you know, 6th, 7th grade, you got to kind of start self-promoting.
Right.
And it hurts me to say that, but that is the reality of the situation right now.
What about, go ahead, Duff. Sorry.
If you're looking, either you or as a coach, if they're looking at highlight tape, recognizing all the shots are going to go in, you're going to see the best moments, but what might they be looking for in a player? Because certain aspects of game, like speed, are hard to really see on a highlight tape. So what else? Fluidity of movement.
I mean, from a coaching perspective, you're looking at like size and athleticism, right? Length. You know, you could see a kid whip a great pass. He may look like a great passer on Instagram, but what you don't see is 10 turnovers before that.
Right.
You know? So I really think from a coach's perspective, they just kind of looking to see like, you know, just the basic tool set.
No one gets recruited off of a highlight tape.
Yeah.
It's a good tool to use to get the conversation going.
Yeah.
But like whenever I communicate with college coaches, it's a highlight tape with a full game film every single time.
By the way, Brock, I mean, that's exactly what Tim Lacoste said when we interviewed him many months ago, right? But he said, like, I forget if it was Tim. He basically said the exact same. Like, show me some highlights, but then I want to see him play in a game.
The highlights are like we said. What do you look like as far as physically?
Yeah.
Right. You know, you could get a decent gauge of athleticism, movement, but outside of that, that's what's going to pique them to then watch the full game film.
Yeah. So what do you think, like dealing with high school coaches, right? So as you guys are coaching club teams and you're managing this, and then you've got players, they all obviously play high school, right? And maybe their role on their high school team is different than their role on the club team. So how do you manage that?
Communication.
Yeah.
Communication and expectations, understanding, we have this conversation with my guys all the time. Everybody on this team is the best scorer or best player at their high school, right? And that's great. Coaches can find 3,000 kids across the country who can put the ball in the hoop, right?
Yeah.
So how are you going to separate yourself not only from your teammates,
right,
but from the rest of the field out there?
Yeah.
So I really try to get them to understand. But as far as high school coaches, just communication is key,
Yeah.
and making sure that you're in their good. Obviously, you don't want to go against anything they're saying. You want to be in their good graces.
Yeah.
But making sure that everybody is on the same page.
Gotcha.
I think high school coaches have gotten lost a little bit in the recruiting.
Yeah.
I feel like that it's gotten so much into club
Right.
basketball. And a lot of it has to do with they're able to put on these huge events, and
Yeah.
it's a one-stop shop, and you can be efficient and you can watch 200 kids in a weekend.
Yeah.
And it's harder to do at the high school level because you do get watered down talent when everybody goes back to their high school. But like every communication I always include the high school coach's contact information. I think club basketball is a great place for kids to be able to kind of play a more free-flowing game. There's not as much structure in it. But when you get to college, like college is structured. Like you're getting put into a system. They're running a specific offense. Like high school basketball is much more relatable to college basketball.
Well, also in terms of knowing the kid, right?
Yeah.
I mean, their high school coach, 5 days practice, 6 days a week.
Yeah.
You got 35 games that they play, right? Club basketball, what do you guys, 2 times a week, maybe practice?
Yeah. Depends on what age group you're talking about.
Right.
Like our 17s boys team, we're 1 day a week, but we've got a kid from Arcata. We have a kid from Cloverdale. We've got a kid from Arizona.
Right.
Like
when somebody
they don't practice, they like this week they'll practice twice because the kid from Arizona is coming into town. So he'll get to practice twice with the majority of the team, but then everybody will practice tomorrow night. So it's a different environment.
So it's interesting you say that, because this is something I've heard about that's been talked about a lot recently, particularly in the NBA playoffs, where you see like the European players are just kicking ass, right? Like they're really, really good. And I think Popovich might have been talking about this, but like in Europe, they practice all the time. Like their percentage of time that they spend practicing versus playing in games far weighted towards practice, right? Totally flipped here. Kids will play game, and have one practice, right?
Yep.
So
on my Instagram, I literally just posted a video. I think it was Rich Paul.
Yeah.
Kids play too much, and I agree with him.
Yeah.
It's like every weekend, 3 teams, different tournaments. And to his point, what's being lost is the actual development of your game.
Right.
So Europe has it figured out. Also in Europe, they don't raise the hoop. I mean, we got a kid who came to us from Europe, and he moved out here. His family did, and his highlights, mom was like, "Hey, do you think he'd be a good fit?" And they were playing on an 8-foot hoop in the 6th grade. And I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, my son, I don't let him shoot on anything more than 6 feet, because what happens here is we give these 2nd and 3rd graders a ball and tell them to get it up to 10, and we ruin them.
Right.
We ruin them.
That happens.
They just start chucking it, flinging it, 2-hand push, and I'm like, it's not your fault, young man, that you shoot like this. It's our fault.
Right. That's a great point.
Spo has the same philosophy as Popovich.
Yeah.
He's like, if it was my decision when we were running his club down in Miami, it was I'd practice twice as much, 3 times as much as we would play games.
Yeah, but
you have to find that balance.
Kids aren't interested in that.
They want to play.
Yeah, this area, that's not exciting. Sitting there and doing form shooting for 30 minutes and perfecting your craft, that's not exciting. They want to go double through the legs and shoot a step back 3.
Right.
Every kid that comes in here, the first thing he does is grab a ball, walks to the 3-point line, chucks it up, and I'm just shake my head.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Yeah.
like to get in the car and drive 2.5 hours to Roseville,
Yeah.
get some fast food, play 7 minutes worth of basketball, where they check up some shots, and then drive back.
Yeah. Where they could stay at home and do an hour workout and get 10 times out of it.
So kind of closing the loop on this, Mike, what do college coaches look for in players in your opinion? I mean, we talked about the kind of athleticism, kind of table stakes, but beyond that, give advice to some kids out there who are listening to this who want to play at the next level.
And it sounds really cliche, but the intangibles, obviously defense. I think defense is number one, but, doing the little things. Do they understand how to see and read the game, And then, again, as cliche as it may sound, what type of teammate they are, body language. If they get pulled out, are they moping? Are they slunching back? Do they go sit on the end of the bench by themselves? Like, you think as a young player, like, oh, no, those are coaches just no, they really are looking at that. Obviously, like we talked about, everybody can score the ball at the D1 level, right? So, I tell guards, the biggest thing from the guards is understanding your pace. You don't want to go watch a kid and see that the defense speeds him up and he doesn't play at his pace, right? And then rebounding. I played 38 minutes a game in college, not because I was scoring 20 points, right? Because I was playing defense, rebounding the basketball, and took care of the ball.
Yeah.
And so those things coaches are looking for. Nowadays, shooting the three is key. I mean, if you're under 6'8", you got to be able to step out and shoot the three. You got to be able to put the ball on the deck.
Yeah.
So...
it's interesting. KK's right there. She doesn't have a microphone, but I thought this was great. To your point about intangibles, she was talking about like in their tournament. KK, correct me if I'm wrong, but like the kids, the game was over and they left all these like water bottles and trash at the bench.
Every time.
Like college coaches look at that
every time.
Mm-hmm. So it's like those little things, like clean up after yourself, shake hands, just be a good human being. Because again, back to our point, like you're running a team, you're with these kids for 5-6 months of the year, they represent your school. You want to know that they're good people.
Yeah.
So those little things matter, and coaches notice.
And that's tough to see on film.
Exactly.
Right. But when they come see you in person, those things are pretty easy to pick up on.
Yeah. Brock, what advice would you give kids who maybe are cuspy D1, maybe could play D2, D3, like that debate about, all right, could you stretch and play D1 and probably don't get a lot of playing time, or D2 versus D3?
Academics is by far the biggest thing. That's the first question I get when I talk to coaches is like, what are their grades like?
Yeah.
Like you have to have grades.
That's all
to play at the next level. Like doesn't matter what sport you're playing. Like you got to make sure that you're doing your work in the classroom. But like that cusp athlete, it depends on every kid. So like right now, I'm working with a family, and like the kid, all he cares about is he wants to just have an opportunity at the Division I level. Doesn't matter if that's like a walk-on, partial scholarship, whatever. He just wants an opportunity. A couple years back, we had a kid in our program that played at St. Ignatius, and he was kind of weighing both options. Like, do I want to be a walk-on, or do I want to go to a D3 school and kind of have an opportunity to play right away?
Not only that, it was one of the top 5 business schools in the country.
Sure. Yeah. And so like his thinking was like, I'm not going to be happy, even though I can go to a UC school, I'm not going to be happy being a walk-on at this school because I'm not going to have an opportunity to play.
Yeah.
Versus I can go to a top 5 business school and play right away. And then he had a great 4-year career. He was all league, I think, in his senior year. And it just depends on what each kid wants their experience to be. You got to kind of weigh, like it's hard for kids to go from being the man at their high school to resetting at the college level and like not getting a lot of playing time as a freshman, or if you're a walk-on.
I'm looking at KK right now.
Or if you're a walk-on, like realistically, you're probably never going to play there.
Yeah.
Well, if you're a walk-on and you play, the coach gets fired.
Right.
That's how it works.
The only thing that you're playing now is
the
like
coach is like, what are we paying? What are you doing? Oh, there have to be a lot of injuries. Yeah, exactly. We're paying money.
Well, it was interesting. Oh, go ahead, Duff. Sorry.
So when you're working with a kid, then are you asking for their academic transcript and like their SAT, ACT scores?
Yep. So the first, included in every like initial email or when talking to a coach on the phone or texting with them, like it's GPA is the first thing they ask, but weighted and unweighted. Okay. Like, are they challenging themselves in the classroom?
Right.
Are they kind of taking the easy way out and they have a 3.8, but they take no AP classes. I
Okay.
just talked to Middlebury yesterday about a kid, and they were like, we would rather, for our school, we want to see them challenge themselves.
Lower GPA with tougher
Yeah.
classes.
I'd rather see a kid take 4 AP classes and have a 3.6 than a kid take no AP classes have a 4.0.
Right.
They want to see like that academic rigor type of thing. And then SAT, ACT has pretty much turned into optional now.
Mm-hmm.
So they only use it if it's going to benefit. So like
Okay.
Middlebury said, like he said, like pretty much if you're above a 1400, they'll submit the SAT score.
If not,
You don't have to submit it. So just depends on the school.
yeah.
And from the player's standpoint, I mean, I sat down with a young man who, he was going through the recruiting process, and his high school coach, he didn't have the guidance that he needed, So I sat down, I took him to breakfast, and I said, look, what do you want to study? Where do you want to live?
Yeah.
I'm like, these are,
Figure this out.
you got to understand,
Yeah.
right? This is a two-way street. They're going to use you. You got to use it, right? And had no idea. I'm like, I need a list of potential schools. This is where Rick was unbelievable. By far the best guidance I can get throughout the whole give me a list. Where do you want? Are you open to go to the East Coast? Do you want to stay on the West Coast?
Yeah.
These are questions that I don't think they really think about. It's like, I just want to play basketball. Yeah. Well, do you want to play basketball in South Dakota?
Right.
So you got to think about it.
Mike, we have massive listenership in South Dakota.
So and like I want to preface it too. Like I would say the majority of athletes in our program are high academic Division III kids, academic D2 kids,
Yeah.
and then like Ivy Patriot type of league kids. We're not getting 5-star kids like that.
Duffy, who does this sound like? This sounds like he's describing Duffy Ballard, circa
Centennial League.
1990. Haverford College.
There you go.
They lost a few games, but that's okay.
But like that, like you're essentially like we're trying to help kids have an opportunity, play the next level, but then like they're gonna get a degree that they can use. Basketball is gonna end for everybody at some point.
So a really interesting use case here is Dave Liss, right? Who was great, a great player at Branson, walked on at Cal, had a really good experience, but then transferred to Pomona. And he was talking about like, I could, Cal, like you got road trips. Maybe I didn't get all the classes I wanted to get. Maybe I couldn't complete the major I wanted. I go D3, he gets to play and he gets to pursue his academics to a degree that he really wanted to. Yeah. So the kind of work-life balance was better for him. I thought that was a really interesting perspective because you look at it like, why would you leave? You're at Cal. Like, why would you leave? And you just said, you know what? For him, that was the right decision and he doesn't regret it.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. I want to talk a little bit about your respective basketball careers. So Mike, you get to MC and you become, I mean, again, arguably the best player to ever play in Marin. How did you get so good?
Hard work. I mean, there's no secret recipe. I mean, I was a better baseball player than I was a basketball player. But the difference was I could take the basketball and go by myself for an hour and a half and just pound the ball and work on my game. Whereas baseball, you need equipment, a coach or something like that,
And were you that kid where you would just self-starter, had a motor?
Yeah, I mean, there's like films of me where if it was a ball, I wanted to do it,
Yeah.
So I didn't get training until Phil Handy until I was like a sophomore in high school.
Right.
I had very good youth coaches who phenomenal.
Yeah.
Marshall Matchman, he passed away, but so I had a good base from there, but just the lost art of basketball is pickup ball. The neighborhood I grew in, you had a chain link fence, out of bounds. That was it. You knew where the posts were. So if you're going loose ball, you're going to get checked. Avoid the post, right? But
no cushion around the
post. No, none. You take it, you absorb the hit, and know where the posts are. But and I always played with older boys, and took my lumps and you learn, even when I was like 14 years old, I remember playing in the Novato men's A league and the team got protested because we won. And, nobody wants to see a 14, 15-year-old doing them up when they're 28, so you learn how to physically protect yourself.
Sure.
And then again, just putting the time in, the best thing about basketball is no matter what's going on in life, you get that ball, you go to that hoop, and it's just you in the basket, and everything else goes away.
Yeah.
And so lot of time doing that.
Talk about Phil Handy. We talked about him with Rick.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he's one of the best skills trainers in the world. Is he? I don't know.
Nah,
I know Darvin just got fired. So
I was just talking with him the other day.
So he'll catch on somewhere. I'm sure he's incredible. Many people think he should be a head coach. So discuss your experiences working with him.
Yeah, so Phil was unbelievable. Again, I had never had any real specialized training. So to me, the footwork, the stuff, I mean, I was a big watcher of basketball. I think that's also lost in this era. Not just to watch the game and see the score, but like I would watch how guys did things and kind of how the play worked, right? But Phil really, now we're talking nuances into the footworks, to the moves, to the repetitions, to, what it's going to take, what hard work really is.
Yeah.
And so he was unbelievable. I mean,
how often would you meet with him?
Depend what time of the year it was. During season, maybe once or twice. Off season, I'd probably go 3 times. When I come back from college, I'd go stay with them. We'd do like mini camps out there.
Yeah.
So, but the thing about it, and this is the thing I tell my kids, and this is what he really told me, he's like, we're here for an hour and a half, right? 2 times a week. He's like, the great players file this away and do it on their own, and take what you're working on here and making sure that you're working on that on your own. Because if you only work out twice a week, it's not going to happen,
I'm saying all the time.
So, but, there'll be, during season, there'll be times he'd come in at lunch and we get reps up and shots up on game days. And I don't know if that was legal or whatnot, but
we're past the statute of limitations.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Duff.
Question both about Phil, but also for you guys in terms of the training you do.
Yeah.
Like how much preparation goes into training a specific player, and how much of it is like things that you can do well that you may pass along, and how much of it do you just design to that player, either what you see they might need or what they're asking for?
Yeah, I mean, I think all good trainers look at where the player is and what he's going to need. And I think that was what was really essential for me in my development. I mean, obviously the game has changed a lot, right? So we all know that. But, I was primarily hard work, hustle, get to the rim, maybe shoot a pull up. And he's like, yeah, that's great. You're 6'4". You're going to be trying to play D1. You need to be out on the perimeter.
You got to shoot
threes. You got to handle the ball,
Yeah.
So really key, the biggest thing about what I love, what we do is I have a big kid. He's a big kid in 5th grade now, right? And everybody's like, oh, are you working on post work? And I'm like, no, have you seen him, mom and dad? Kid's going to be 5'10".
Right.
So I'm like, we're doing 0 post work, all guard skills, his shooting, footwork, so life-wise, I don't know if you guys know Thailanders, right?
Of course.
So he's moving to SI, and it's like, same thing for him. I'm like, look, you got to do the post work. I know we want to do all the guard work, right? So every workout that I do is tailored to the athlete and what they need to work on. I always tell them, I'm like, this is your hour. Like, what are you struggling with in games? Because I can't go watch all your games. So, like, it's up to you to give me some feedback, but also understanding, what they're going to need to have tools-wise to be successful, at least at the high school level. And then if we're moving on from there, we, it's a different kind of worms. But
yeah. So discuss your recruiting journey. So how did you land at West Valley?
I was the stubborn kid that Brock talks about. You don't want to be, right?
D1 or bust.
D1 or bust. Back then the stigma, obviously, Marin, soft, right? I'm not a flashy 4'4", 40-inch vertical guy, so I wasn't going to catch a lot of guys' eyes, but I knew I could play at that level. So I ended up at West, partially because Phil had connection. Julius Hicks, who played at Oregon and was the assistant coach there at the time, was boys with Phil. So I went down there, played for Yoshikawa. Very interesting situation that takes place, but we have a good season. A couple coaches that were in contact with me prior would follow up, and he happened to move from Lafayette, who didn't offer scholarships. I probably would have ended up at Lafayette.
Okay. I
was not keen on going to a Boise State type of situation. If I wasn't going to be, WCC, Pac-10 at the time, I didn't want to stay on the West Coast necessarily, So I went to West Valley. Obviously, we did well. My game developed. And then, the coach reached out and went and took my recruiting trip. And I liked the opportunity. I was very smart understanding I knew I could play at that level, but not in every system.
Right.
Right. And so the system that they were going to be implementing, I was very comfortable with.
Good fit for you.
Good fit. Right. And I think that's very important,
Yeah.
So that's how I ended up at Hartford. But it was a grind. I mean, I tell these kids all the time, every day, where are you going? What are you doing? Who's on blah, 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 from people around the area.
Yeah.
And it wears on you. It does,
Sure.
And, you kind of just got to stay like the horse with the blinders and focus on the end goal. But I was going to go D1, or I wasn't going to go, to a Puget Sound who was all over me at the time,
But so in hindsight, good path for you, right? West Valley got you where you wanted to go.
Yeah. I mean, we could talk about the whole JUCO situation another time, maybe off the podcast. But got me to where I needed to go.
That's great. Awesome. Brock, talk about playing for your dad.
Let me preface this, okay? By the way, before Brock gets going. So Rick, we were very structured. Grind, defend. I come back and watch Brock his senior year. All of a sudden, he's LMU running gun, get a shot off. And I say,
Rick talked about this. You're like, WTF? What's going on?
Oh, yeah, okay. He already talked about that because I was like, damn, coach, I see how it is.
That's great.
Playing for my dad. I played for him in 8th grade. He was my CYOB coach in 8th grade. My basketball journey completely different than Mike's. I was never the best kid in the county. I was always like kind of tail end on the A team. I would say 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there. And I didn't know it at the time, but my dad used to go to the AD at St. Anthony's and tell him like, hey, if Brock's 8, 9, or 10, I want him on the B team.
Right.
Like,
once you get playing time,
I want him to have the ball in his hands. I want him to develop, be able to, I had no idea that was happening behind the scenes. And then 8th grade year, we were short a coach. He decided to coach. So that was my first experience playing for him. And then up into Marin Catholic, I was the last person to make the freshman team at Marin Catholic. I was 5 feet tall, 100 pounds. I was tiny, and I worked my ass off. Like, I knew exactly what my role was at that time. My role was practice player, make the starters better.
Yep.
I'm not going to play. So practice is my game.
How many players made the freshman team?
I think it was 15. So I was number 15. Sophomore year, I grew up a little bit. I was like the 8th guy on the JV team. Again, just kind of played my role, did what I needed to do to contribute.
Sure.
Everything changed going into junior year summer. Had a meeting with my dad and the assistant coach at the time. And my dad just straight up told me, like, you probably should just stop playing basketball. You should. And this was coach speak. This was not my dad talking to me. Like,
this was Coach Winter.
My dad and I are very good at being able to separate him being my father and him being my coach. He was my AP US history teacher. He was the athletic director of my Catholic. Like, we were very good at being able to split the different relationships. And, he was like, you're good at baseball. I think that's where you can try and go play at the college level. Like, you should probably just try and stick there. So that night, like, I literally wrote 3 goals on a piece of paper and taped it up to my room. And it was like, prove Coach Winter wrong, improve foot speed, improve ball handling. Like, those are the 3 things I had to do.
Yeah.
From that point forward, like, I was in the gym at 6 a.m. before school every single day. And my number one goal was just make varsity to prove him wrong, essentially.
Were you by yourself, or were there other guys in the gym?
We had other guys.
So that's great too, right? That you got that culture.
Yeah. So like Les Smith, who played Division I at Lafayette, he was a year older than me. He was kind of the one that like ran the workouts with me in the morning at 6 a.m. And then as he graduated, so like my junior year, I was again like the last guy on the team. My time was practice time. Make guys better in practice. Accept your role. Like my mom used to have conversations with my dad, be like, you can't just get him a minute here or there. And it's like, no, like he's not good enough. Like, and during that time I had a growth spurt. I grew 7 inches. I went from 5'3" to 5'10".
Okay.
Between those two summer.
Yeah.
So that obviously helped. But senior year came around and we had graduated pretty much everybody from the previous year. We only had, I think, like 90 points returning from the previous year. And so there was a lot of opportunity. Total. And so there's a lot of opportunity. And like, I think I worked my ass off to be able to have that opportunity to be our best player. I don't know if I was our quote unquote best player, but I feel like I was our most impactful guy.
You were second team on league. So clearly the coaches around the league
believe that.
Thought highly of you.
Yeah. And
that's awesome.
Playing for him was tough though. Like it's an interesting dynamic to play for your dad because you go to practice, you're in the gym with him, he's your coach at the time. Then I got to get in the car and drive home with him.
Right.
And now we have to separate what just happened in practice to driving home and eating dinner and being like with him as my father. But it wasn't like anything traumatic. Like I was able to like, we were really good at being able to separate like the business and the friendship type of like, you know.
Were there a lot of silent rides home? I'm just speaking out of experience with my son Holden. Is sometimes the coach brain is still there, and the coach brain wants to keep going with what I saw that could improve, but I just got to shut that down and just be like, all right, I'm keeping my mouth shut for the drive home unless he says something.
Yeah, the best thing my dad did was he always, when we got in the car, it was, do you want to be
coach or dad?
Coach or dad?
Yeah.
And it was my decision. So like if I say coach, then he was gonna, all bets are off. Like he's gonna tell it how it is. If it's dad, he's gonna tell me how proud he is and all that.
Ed Hart, I love you.
Yeah.
I love watching you play.
There was one instance, senior year, we get kicked out of practice, and it's of course my fault. I'm one of the captains, and of course I have to. He's my ride. I ride home with him. So I had the assistant coach take me home because he also lived in Novato, and we get to dinner. And my mom's like, so how was today? And I'm like, oh, this is not the time to talk about how was today. We just got kicked out of practice. It was all my fault. But no, like my playing experience for him was awesome. Like I also was in the gym since I could ever remember.
Right.
Being around him, being around like guys like Mike growing up. So like I kind of knew how he was as a coach, and that prepared me. But I would do it all over again if I had to.
That's great.
I got to dig up that photo. I got a photo of Brock and Kyle buried to their necks when we were in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Both of them looking like little feeble.
Yeah. This was last week. So I want to get really quick into coaching. I mean, we've almost been going for an hour, but I want to get into coaching and then obviously crunch time, which will be fantastic. But before we get into coaching or related to it, both of you have worked with Coach Spo. I think I love watching the Heat. I love the way he coaches. Give us some nuggets of wisdom you've got from him, or best practices, or just perspective on working with one of the best coaches in the world.
I mean, obviously Brock did more time with him helping run the program out there. I got to go out there and run basically set up the programs for them and kind of show them the structure of how we do things. And here I am going to an NBA champion coach and one of the most humble guys ever. I mean, you would not know his resume just by how he's sitting there taking notes on what I'm doing, like I'm the bee's knees, and I'm over here like, man, don't mess this up.
Right.
You know,
right.
Down to earth guy. He's just a great human being. Like that's the number one thing about him. We went out to dinner with him after actually the Warriors played the Heat, and Steph. This was right when and Steph was just going
bonkers.
Yeah. Now I'm in his seats, like trying to contain myself, right?
Right.
After the game, he's supposed steaming a little bit, and we talked about some things about one of their superstars and what he did not like about coaching him. But it's just a humble, down to earth, honest guy.
Yeah. That's great.
I think the way he is because of the way he cut his teeth in the industry.
Yeah.
Started, there's that great article. I think it was a Sports Illustrated article. From the dungeon to the bright lights.
He was like a video coordinator.
He was a video coordinator. Yeah. Like he was a video guy.
Same with Budenholzer.
And it was just, he's like, to piggyback on he's the most humble guy. Now, the thing that I think I was very impressed with was we used to go to, I probably went to breakfast with him once a week just to update the program.
Yep.
He would have some suggestions he would want to implement it. And he always wanted updates about how his youth program was going, which I think shows a lot about like how much he cares about people
and the game
of basketball. Like he really wanted the community in Miami to rally. You know, basketball was at a height there, and so I think basketball was becoming really, really popular. Football is like their main sport in Florida, and so he really wanted to try and give back to the basketball community down there. But the thing that I thought he did the best was like we would be out at breakfast and the people next to us would like say something, and he would be like, he would stop our meeting.
Yeah.
He would ask them next to them, like, hey, can you say that again?
Yeah.
We said the same thing. Right?
Yeah.
He would try and try and implement things that like everyday people do into the culture of the Heat. And I just don't think you see that a lot with even like high level Division I coaches or NBA pro coaches around the world. Like he really wants to try and implement as much as he can of surrounding environments into the culture.
So there was a really interesting anecdote from the second best basketball podcast out there, JJ Redick and LeBron James. But LeBron was talking about playing for Spo, and he said that the Heat system changed when Spo went out to hang out with Chip Kelly and watch Oregon football.
Yep.
And he's like, I want to learn the spread offense and take some concepts from that and apply it to basketball. And it's just like that's the kind of guy, right? That's my perspective of him, just through hearing stories from you guys, and Rick said the same thing. I've heard others, just that he's just constantly out there trying to learn.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm actually, you brought up Ted Lasso the other day. I'm watching Ted Lasso with my daughter again. And we just saw that episode where, Ted does look at the darts and he talks about, be curious, not judgmental, right? The great Walt Whitman quote. And like, that's how I think of Spoelstra, right?
Yeah,
like he's curious. He's always trying to learn. And I think great coaches share that trait.
Yeah. I mean, this was second year. We run a coaches clinic for our program, the Heat facility.
Yeah.
And, we're in the practice facility, chairs are out, you got video board up, you got whiteboard up. And like, we're all walking into this like, perfect. We get to sit down, we get to learn from Coach Spo and his staff.
Yeah.
Spo goes and sits down and was like, all right, I'm waiting for the first person to come up, and like, he wants to learn as much as he can about the game of basketball from everybody. And like, it goes back to him being humble. And I think his beginnings of how he got into the industry.
Player development with the Heat is awesome, right? And you got guys that are like D3, like Duncan Robinson, Max Strus. How much of that is coming from Spo, and how much of it is from the organization where there's actually
Pat Riley?
Yeah.
So shout out to our guy Rob Foder.
Yeah.
Shooting
pass it to the basket.
That's it.
We got it, Rob. We want you on the podcast.
We'll get him. I was texting with him earlier. Might have to be on the golf course.
That's fine.
That's fine. So Spo worked closely with Dwayne Wade, as like Spo did some player development stuff when he was under Pat Riley.
Okay.
And so he, I think, obviously sees like a huge impact in player development. There are other trainers that obviously work with guys, right? That like they're outside trainers. But I think that what he's done is he's found like someone that's really good, like Rob, who teaches the game a lot different than anybody else.
Yeah.
But results work. Like the way that he has transformed some of those guys that have come into the Heat, not been strong free throw shooters, not been strong 3-point shooters, and then the next year they're having career years.
Yeah.
Like
Gabe Vincent.
Those I think are huge. And like he's trying to bring in as many good people around him as possible. Like he's not scared to bring someone in to help teach and form their type of culture and player development system.
Culture is key down there.
Yeah.
With that part. I mean, it doesn't matter who they have. They're going to defend. They're going to play hard. They're going to compete. They're in every talent or not. I
mean, I think that I was listening to Bill Simmons' podcast. And he talked about the Heat have literally tried to reset like once in like the last 15 years. Like they've had one like really bad, terrible year.
Right.
Other than that,
we're always there.
They're always right there. Like this year, I mean, if Jimmy Butler isn't hurt, I think that they give Celtics even
much
more
tougher
problems than they had.
Totally agree. Awesome. Well, thank you for that. It's fun I could talk about Spoelstra forever. But all right, real quick, I'm curious how you guys approach coaching a club team for a season in terms of obviously you want to develop your players, right? You want them to get better. That's why they're there.
Yeah.
How do you approach trying to win games or the team getting better over the course of your club season? How does that?
Yeah, I mean, so it's all relative, right? Right now I have an unbelievable 8th grade group, and the way I approach them versus my 6th grade group is different, The intensity, the focus, the execution, the attention to detail is the same. Just the things that we're working on are a tad bit different, It's all about development. And even with the greatest teams I've had in this program, right? I'm like, great. We're a good basketball team. We went out and won championships and did that. At the end of the day, my job is to prepare you for the next level, is to get you ready for your next season, right? Which is why we don't run plays. I had another coach who I was sitting on an airplane and we were chatting, and we didn't really know each other before. He's like, man, you do a great job, like the plays you run. I'm like, I didn't tell him this, right? Because I didn't want to disrespect him. But in my head, I'm like, we don't run plays.
You just run kind of a framework.
Read and react. I teach my kids what the defense does, how you do it, how you respond to it, and they do it on their own.
Right.
Now at the younger grades, sometimes you have to talk them through it. I was talking with my 6th graders. I'm like, I want to get to the point where I don't have to talk you guys through everything.
Yeah.
But they're not there yet. But I always tell them, I'm like, look, I just want you to take 10% of each day. Take 10% of today, what I'm teaching. Take 10% increment, stacking and building.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, some of the best coaching experiences that I had have been some of our lowest level teams where, I mean, we can't run a press break. We can't do any. And by the end of the year, they break the press without the ball in there. Now they may still miss the layup, but it's like, oh my God, like look, and the sad part about it is, it's possible. They can do it. These kids can.
Right.
But I think, one, you have to hold them to a high expectation. And for me, that's discipline and structure and accountability. Right. Yeah. And two, you have to have a personality that, you can mesh with everybody. And I think what gets lost in coaching, outside of egos and coaches being so stuck in their ways, is the inability to relate not to the team, but different players. Who do you got to pat on the butt? Who do you got to grab their shirt and rip? Right. You cannot have one technique because it's going to turn half of them off. Right. And so,
we talked about this with Rick, that old saying, like, you got to treat kids fairly, not necessarily equally.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. You can't treat everybody the same, but you treat them what's according to how the kid is, right?
So coaching wise, the other weekend, I mean, this is, champion winning tournaments, right? My team started well and we went through a rough patch, right? And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I could call a timeout and stop this. I'm like, but no, I'm not going to do it.
Let them figure
this out on their own.
Yeah. Like Phil Jackson, just let him suck.
That's it.
Like
I'm
6
like,
minutes.
And luckily halftime came and I'm like, look, guys, you know what to do. You know the right way to play. You've seen if you don't do it, these are the results, right? And they came out and were phenomenal. But it's not my job to bail them out,
right?
It's my job to put them in positions where they learn and grow. And, likewise, in the 6th grade, kid missed a buzzer-beating layup that was wide open layup, would have won the game for us. And I told, he's all upset. And look, you got to do that now.
Right.
So that when you're a junior in the MCAL championship, you felt that pain before. And so that's kind of where I come from. But, it cracks me up when parents are like, how do you get the kids to structure, accountability, and discipline? It's not rocket science.
Right.
I'm like, try it at home.
And giving space for leaders to develop at any age, really. I think some of the best moments of our season at Archer this year were the moments where we walked into the locker room, the coach's Russ was ready to give a speech.
Yeah.
And Owen Bugas was already ripping his teammates or motivating them, whatever. And the coaches would look at each other and we're like, okay.
I'm actually glad you said that because now with my 8th grade, we're talking about high level team. I mean, this team is really, we're good, right?
Yeah.
That's where I'm at now. I'm like, who's going to be the leader here?
Right.
And now with them, I'm like, we need to mentally mature. Not there with it, but big key is fostering the ability to allow them to do that.
Totally. Brock, anything to add on that?
Yeah, I mean, I tell I'm in a similar situation. I have a higher level 7th grade team and then a 5th grade select 2 team.
Yeah.
And we're learning, like the 5th grade is awesome. Like we're getting better every single day. And we're learning how to play the game of basketball and reading and reacting. Like Mike said, like with my 7th grade team, I do run 3 plays, but everything flows right into our offense. Like if that isn't there, then it goes right into, we're in 4 out, 1 in, and we're running, right into read and react in 5 out if we don't get anything in the post. But with my 7th grade team, I tell them every single day, I'm like, I can care less if we win any games the rest of the year. All I care about is that you made the other team beat you, because I think there's a difference between making someone 100%. Beat you and losing a game.
Yeah.
And did you give your full effort? Are we building? Are we getting better every day? Because in 3 years, you're not going to remember this Saturday 1:00 game.
Totally.
Like the goal is
3 years, 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's true too. But like in 3 years, like the goal is learn what happened in this game, and when you get to the high school level, not make those same mistakes again, and keep improving your game. I think we talk about. I think my 7th grade team is probably exhausted by me talking about that, but like, because like the parents are really into winning. They want to win.
Yeah.
A drawback from social media are these rankings that make no sense to anybody, and like they're very in tune with like, we want to be ranked, we want this, we want that. I'm like, could care less.
Totally.
What your ranking is.
It's not what we're here for.
Like we're not here for that. We're here to get better every day.
Yeah.
And you know what? If we're gonna lose a kid because they are focused on that,
that's fine.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I do think that's one thing that we have all kind of accepted the last couple of years. My dad always talks about, if it's not the right fit, it's not the right fit. You got to kind of just let it go, and then they'll find their way back.
Totally.
And we're not in the
agree.
business of blowing smoke up people's butt. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right.
Favorite the feedback I give Dave on the podcast.
I would like some more smoke blown up my butt, Duffy. Favorite drills. Team and individual. This is not crunch time because we want to have a back and forth.
Okay.
As you once said to me.
My favorite, I mean, day one, every day, loose ball drill.
All right, describe it.
2 kids on the baseline, on the lane lines. You roll the ball out.
Somebody's got to get it.
And they got to wait till I say go, and somebody's got to get it. And you find out real quick
who's getting on the floor and who's bending down.
Workhorse or show pony. That's what I always say. I don't want show ponies. That's my favorite individual drill.
Mike, I've done one variation of this. I forget where I got it from, but I pulled it from the web someplace. But have 2 kids and they're lined up right by the 3-point line, and I'm in between them, so there's a little space. I have the ball, and I might throw it up in the air. I might throw it down here. I might roll or whatever. Whoever gets the ball, even if I have to get on the ground, they could pass it. Their offense pass it to the coach, and now I can get up and play one-on-one.
Yeah.
And so that's a nice variation, and you see who wants to win.
Oh, I mean, that's my thing. I don't even want them playing one-on-one. I don't even care about that. I'm like, I want to see who's tough.
Right.
Yep.
Who's tough. I want tough kids.
Like that one. Brock, what do you got?
Rebounding drill. 3 guys.
King of the Hill.
King of the Hill.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Describe it.
3 guys in the middle. Shot goes up, and it's like
UFC.
Yeah. There's no rules.
Yeah.
Like, who wants it?
So once you get the rebound, can you go back up with it?
Yeah. So
no jump shot.
You got to score 2 points. You got to score 2 baskets to get out.
Okay.
And
so when the ball goes through the net, you keep playing.
You kick it back out.
Kick it back to the coach.
Coach shoots,
another shot. Okay.
Another shot. But you got to score twice to get out. And
that's great.
No jump shot.
Everything has to be in the paint.
I hear you, Mike.
It's physical. It's there's no
coach makes the shot. Is it a live rebound?
Live rebound. Yeah. Everything's live.
Everything.
That is my favorite drill. When I was a student manager at Cornell, we ran the exact same drill, and a kid got stuck in there for 35 minutes, and it was brutal to watch.
Wow.
But the kid figured it out eventually. Like, you got to figure out a way to get out.
And no out of bounds, right? They're going out of bounds. Yeah.
If the ball, I sometimes when the ball gets away from the roof, I'm like, reset, give me the ball. I'm not dribbling to 45 times to try and get to the middle. Like, I'm shooting it again.
I tell them to take it like a running back and just forget rules.
All right. We have reached crunch time, gentlemen. You okay, Duffy?
Yeah.
KK, you good with crunch time?
We got another hour in this interview. Perfect.
Brock, favorite gym in Marin? I mean, I know the answer, but
I
go
mean,
ahead.
I'll say Marin Catholic.
Oh,
but,
okay, shocker.
But let's not use Marin Catholic. San Marin.
Really? Paul Fairbuff Court. Wow.
Especially the visiting side in the second half.
Okay.
Or the fourth. I guess it's the second and the fourth quarter.
Yes.
For some reason, it's the only gym in Marin County where the visiting side hoop is looser than the home side.
Okay. Good knowledge
You
there.
can hit front rim and ball's going in the
I'll
basket.
go in. Mr. Turner.
That's
Favorite gym?
also the best game, probably high school game I've played.
Oh, okay.
was
So
in
this
that
is a
gym,
biased
too.
answer.
For sure.
Okay.
But I also shot well in that gym.
That's fine.
It's a Hill Middle School in Novato.
In Novato.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Now, as an adult, I love it because it's short court. It's sweet. It's cardio, but that's kind of where, it all started for me.
Yeah, that's great.
Rec ball, and that's kind of my first memories in film. And
Love it.
That kind of got an old school wooden floor, right?
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of light that comes in.
kind of half ice skating rink, basketball floor.
Yeah, that's a cool spot.
Okay, Mike, toughest player you've played against? Marin. Oh, okay. So it's
Not KK.
Yeah. Marin. Oh, man, now you're going to make me go back. Toughest player, Marin. I have to dust off the memories.
you had some Branson battles, right?
We had some Branson battles. Tough is relative, I guess. Brandon Miller was probably the toughest just because you could not take a play off guarding him, because he was going to go after it. There were guys who might have been more talented, scored. Tadley Howe put up 50 points,
Yeah.
But for me, Brandon,
Where did he play?
Terra Linda?
Terra Linda.
Okay.
Yeah. And they had really good teams, and Steve Farkston did a phenomenal job, but specifically him, because if you relaxed, he was getting the offensive rebound, and that was his whole game. So
Yeah. Okay.
Was he there with Jesse Bean or was
Yeah.
yeah.
Jordan Lewis.
Jordan was
Jordan
maybe a
little-
younger.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Brock.
Yeah. Stuart Wasonga.
Oh yeah, Sam
He
Marin.
is. Yeah. He
Who's big? How big? What?
He was like what 6'6",
6'5".
6'5".
Yeah.
Just never had somebody that wanted the basketball more than him. Like the shot goes up and like he is just a monster. Like he was going towards the ball. So I got to play against him 3 times my senior year. We went 2-1 against them. We lost to them in the playoffs. But watching him his senior year, the following year, he at 6'5" absolutely destroyed the number 1 player in the country, Brandon Ashley, twice.
I remember him. Yeah.
In the NCS championship game, and I think 1 time in the regular season. And it was just all effort.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't the most skilled kid from the outside, but he was just a guy that was like a Energizer bunny out.
That's great.
Floor.
He was a kid we wish NBBA was a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
What was the brothers at Marin Catholic? Ahern. Dave Ahern had me come in. Terry had me come in and train Dave, and he brought Stuart. And this kind of ties into our whole thing. So I'm putting Stuart 6'5", right? He's going to Cal State Northridge, which at the time is up and down. They want athletes who could fly, handle the ball, get up in the rim. And I'm putting him through some drills. I'm like, nobody's ever done this with him. I'm like, dude, I don't know who told you to go to Northridge, but and it did. Sadly for him, it didn't end up working out. And that's why I wish we were earlier. I wish we could have done it to get kids like that who.
Yeah.
Anyways, don't want to get too far off.
Well, that's a good answer. Okay, Turner, just for you, toughest player you've ever played against?
I mean, for me,
or how about best player you've ever played against?
I mean, Jeff Green was pretty unbelievable.
Still in the NBA.
Jeff Green was probably the best player just from length, size, ability.
Georgetown.
Yeah. I mean, they had Roy Harris. They had team. Kimball Walker for me was the hardest guard.
UConn, amazing player.
I'm gonna pick him up full court. It's scouting report by the way. Oh, typical backup New York guard. Okay, that's what it says on the scouting report. So he checks in, goes like, go pick him up full court. So he makes one. It wasn't even his fan. Has it?
Just by you.
By me. I was like, okay, I walked over. I'm going to get him at half court. There ain't no point in me trying to pick him up full court.
Yeah. Also a good NBA career. Okay. Best player you've ever coached, Brock?
Probably a kid from Florida. His name's Mark Chasen. He was a 6'2", 6'3" guard. He actually, I convinced him to go to Ithaca College.
Nice.
For his playing career, third leading scorer in school history. Just long, athletic point guard that could absolutely shoot the crap out of it from the outside, understood his limitations as a player, and had a ridiculous college. I mean, he was one of the best players ever played at Ithaca.
Nice.
And I think he's a kid that totally bought into, could have gone and walked on somewhere, but wanted to go play and be a guy. And he won the gold medal with the U.S. Maccabi team.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
So he was on that.
Dave Bliss did that too. Mr. Turner, best player you've ever coached?
I mean, so I'd probably say Brandon Beckman. No, I've coached guys who have went on to play D1 and gone to higher levels, but Brandon was one of the smartest basketball players.
Where did he play?
He played at St. Ignatius, then he went on to Chicago. He was the young man we were talking about who really understood the recruit.
Yeah.
Now in about 4 years, I'm going to have to hit him up for a job. But the kid had an unbelievable work ethic, never complained, was gritty, was tough, high IQ, obviously had the game to go with it. So
that's great.
If I had to pick a Marin kid, Joaquim, that went to Branson.
Oh yeah, I was more.
The hardest working kid.
Yeah,
I think that has one of the hardest working kids
on Gonzaga's team right now.
I mean, I was lucky enough to coach him.
Talk about
sixth grade to 8th grade, and I mean, I think he would be. I mean, he was like on the lowest level club team as a 5th grader, could not figure out how to not travel. And just like 6th grade, he was like last on my team. 7th grade, he was like kind of middle of the pack. 8th grade, he wasn't our most talented player. He was not our best player, but he played the most because he did everything. And I think the way that he progressed throughout high school shows that. And he walked on at Gonzaga, and I think he's having a great experience there.
It's awesome.
I mean, that's like, I feel like a poster child for our program is that, when you buy in to where you get placed, and,
use it as an opportunity to get better, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Trust the process.
All right. So this is we have 2 questions left. This one's sort of like therapy for me because I'm processing this. I was coaching a game 2 weeks ago. We're up 3 with 7 seconds left. It's not about you. Up 3 with 7 seconds left. Brock, I texted you this. I chose to not foul. They hit a 3 at the buzzer. We lose double overtime. Mike, you're up 3, 7 seconds left. Are you fouling or not? You have no fouls to give.
Full court or half court?
3/4 court.
I'm fouling.
Okay. Just make me feel better. Thanks a lot, Mike. Go ahead, Brock.
Too much crazy stuff happens in youth sports.
I know. You're telling me. I didn't.
Are you going to be able to box out?
I think it's depends on what your personnel is.
Yeah,
for sure.
No, 1-and-1. Put the 1 in. That's what I hate about the new rule here, the automatic 2. No, put the pressure on him. The 1-and-1.
We're gonna have to have a debate between you and Jonas Honig because Honig loves it. He's like
I
1-and-1.
can't believe that.
I know Honig
From Jonas.
Exactly. The toughest guy. He's like, it's unfair to kids.
No, Jonas,
just 30 years ago, I was playing for you.
If you're listening, give me a call. We'll talk to you.
I would probably foul in most situations, unless I know that we're gonna guard or the team can't shoot threes.
Yeah, doesn't matter. That's how you bank 3, you lose.
So
the worst thing that can happen is you tie, but then you did lose.
We did lose another one. Thanks, Brock.
All right, one follow up on that.
Go ahead, Duffy.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry. All right. Club ball. In terms of free throws, you get fouled. It's an automatic 2 points. Option 1. One shot for 2 points.
No.
Or shoot them both.
So yes, a lot of high school tournaments, high level high school tournaments I played in, they did do the 1 for 2, which I hated.
Yeah.
Especially if you got a bad free throw shooting team.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, for the most in youth sports, it's what they will do is 10, 1-and-1.
Okay.
Because nobody wants to watch a whole free throw game, right?
So we're this weekend we're in the UA Future Tournament in Roseville.
Yeah.
And it's 10 is 1-on-1, 12 is double bonus.
Yeah.
So it's less watching.
Which when you're down 2 and you look up and there's 40 seconds left and you only got 4 fouls,
that's
got to commit.
Why weren't we hacking?
Exactly. Got to commit 8 fouls in 40 seconds.
But a lot of people do the 2 for 1,
1 for 2,
or 1 for 2 because they say it. It wastes time.
Yeah.
The getting set for the first free throw is the time waster. So
Right. So the second one. Right. It's so true. So true.
So
All right, last one. Favorite Marin restaurant? Go ahead, Brock.
the Buckeye.
It's a good answer.
I mean, I live in Sonoma County now, so I don't really eat Marin very often anymore. But the Buckeye is where we go for birthdays and stuff.
Mike.
Chalet Das.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Terra Linda. That's a good spot. Awesome. Well, this has been super fun. Could talk to you guys forever. Thank you for all the thoughts. Thanks for all you're doing for Marin Hoops. You guys are making kids better.
That's the goal.
I know personally so many parents of kids who have played for both of you and just love what you guys do. So thank you. Duff, anything?
I want to ask, how is the taqueria around the corner from your
Celia's?
gym? Yeah. Oh, not Celia's.
Celia's. That's not a
Celia's, yeah, amazing.
Oscars is
solid.
Solid. Okay.
Okay.
All right. We're at the NBBA training facility.
We are at the training facility.
Oscars, Celia's, and where they used to have a very nice bowling alley, but no longer.
No longer. Country Club Bowl. But Celia's or Oscars, if you want to sponsor us, we're open.
Way to slip that in.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Great.
Appreciate it.
Burke's on his feet. He looks up and gives me a grin and says, "Hey dude, you too must be from Marin."